Welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. My name is Philip, and joining me as always is Ginger.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about The Night Sitter. Before we get into it, spoiler warning now! If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead to the timecode you see on the screen. Alright, so let's get into it.
And what did you think of it?
This is going to be so interesting because I know you like this movie. I know you did. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. I can appreciate what it was trying to do. It wanted to be an 80s throwback film with a modern twist. But for me, all it ended up being was an aimless 90 minutes where it trudged along from scene to scene without purpose or build. It tried to be House of the Devil and Home Alone and Evil Dead and The Babysitter and outright copy and pasted from Suspiria. But ultimately, it failed at all of them. If I had to describe the movie in a few words, it would be a confused mess. And that sucks, because on the right hands, this one had a ton of potential. What about you?
I can totally respect all of that.
Oh no.
No, I really enjoyed it. However,
Okay.
I definitely know it's a flawed film.
Okay. I was like, you didn't like Welcome to Willits, and you like this? Oh my god.
This one, the aesthetic won me over.
Okay.
But yeah, I still found it to be highly enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was slightly above Full Moon.
Okay, yeah.
Also, it's kind of cool. It was actually set in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the neighboring town from where I live.
Right on.
So that was kind of cool.
Okay.
But anything more I can go into when we go into details.
Awesome. Well, speaking of, some things that I did like. I liked the character of Lindsay, who was the possessed woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because the actress looked like she was having a blast in that role. Like she was having the time of her fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun to see. I liked the character of Vincent, who was the occult guy. Like the expert. And I thought he was believable as the awkward, nerdy dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then I liked that they actually legit killed a kid on screen.
Mm-hmm.
You don't usually see that.
Nope.
And they were like, fuck you, we're going to slit his throat, you're going to see it, ha. That was pretty badass. And that was about all I liked. What about you?
For me, colors. Loved the entire color palette.
Pretty colors. It ripped off Suspiria.
I know.
Okay.
But
All right. Okay.
I still appreciate it.
I appreciate that you ripped off Suspiria.
Like, there was the very first thing I noticed when I started watching the trailers for it.
Oh, okay.
Loved the colors. And then the music.
Oh my god.
For it being an 80s throwback, it was definitely winning me over on that. I liked the babysitter Amber sometimes.
Mm.
Most time I just liked how she was dealing with the obsessive ex-boyfriend,
Martin,
if you want to call him that.
Yeah.
He was just a total tool, and
Mm-hmm.
she was not having any of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciated that. And I also liked how she spoke to the boy that she was babysitting.
Right.
The entire people used to talk down to me, so I'm just going to be truthful with you, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And she was.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dad somewhat for being like a low-key villain, like totally setting it all up and just I'm kind of wondering if he even murdered the mom with his entire reaction of like, let me tell you the sob story of my wife dying less than a year ago. It's like, okay, but yeah, that's it. Oh, and the kills, when the good kills did happen, they were good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
They gave me some pleasant gore and well done practical effects.
Some of them.
Yes, some of them.
To touch on what you said, I didn't mind the relationship between the babysitter and the kid, but it felt like a poor man's The Babysitter. Because their relationship in that movie was fantastic. This felt like just a copy of it. And then I touch on the dad stuff in the next part. What I think could have been improved or what was not very good. Not as ranty as usual, but still kind of ranty. Martin, the ex-boyfriend, was fucking annoying. He went from possibly cute doofus to outright douchebag in the span of 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Both child actors were varying degrees of annoying. Ronnie was way too hammy.
Yes.
And Kevin had a range from, that's not the right emotion on your face, to extremely awkward delivery. And it'll be interesting because that actor is in the next few Avatar movies. So we'll find out if he can actually act and if it was a case of not very good direction by the directors, which is my assumption.
Which Avatar movies?
Like the James Cameron ones?
Oh, the blue people?
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be able to pass by.
We'll see. We'll see if he can actually deliver his lines correctly. Speaking of the dad was way too fucking corny. Mm-hmm. You touched on this. I have it written down as well. First of all, sir, you're way too nonchalant about your wife dying. And by the end of the movie, he was pretty much Zoolander with one look he had where he just smiled stupidly at shit. That was just one look. I assume that got him the part. He was told to do it over and over and over. All he did was like smile. Like, oh, look how creepy and fucking weird I look. It's the same smile every time. It was fucking Zoolander. It was horror Zoolander is what he was. Also, you're watching my kid. Here, have some whiskey. The plot was a jumbled mess. The cinematography, I disagree with you completely, was not good. The lighting was way too try-hard, and the score was distracting. The gore looked cheap and fake for the most part. One could say that was part of the charm, being an 80s throwback. But this looked cheap bad, not cheap good. Evil Dead looked cheap good. This was just cheap bad. And on that subject, people weren't reacting to pain correctly. You get your finger bit off, you're going to be screaming. You get fucking scalped, you're going to be shrieking. You want to see a movie where people emote shit properly? Go watch the Elijah Wood version of Maniac. That was done to perfection. Like, it tried to be campy horror, but no one knew how to write characters or make them interesting or write a cohesive plot or direct the actors or pacing or set up the shots or do the lighting or do special effects or do practical gore or decide which fucking movie it wanted to be. I can't articulate just how mediocre each aspect of filmmaking came across in this movie. This felt like a bad student film with a generous budget for gore. Like if the movie Kate was a try-hard giallo 80s horror movie instead of what Kate was. So those are my thoughts on that.
I had problems with the pacing. And yes, some of the plot. But aside from that, nothing else really bothered me.
Blah.
I took it for what it was. I went into this definitely knowing I wasn't going to get top tier experience.
I didn't.
I knew it was going to be schlocky.
I didn't know that.
B-movie.
I didn't know that.
So that's where my expectations laid.
I went into this movie thinking it was going to be good.
It fulfilled my expectations.
You need to raise your expectations.
For it being good, no. For it being entertaining, yes.
Okay. So I have two side notes. The son just watched his quote-unquote friend get his throat slit. People get their head smashed to mush. Fingers bit off, and his dad getting his throat ripped off, which looked awful. How fucked is that kid? Like, he is fucked. Also, does she just own him now?
Yeah.
Like, what? What? Meh. All right. So, all things considered, would you recommend it?
Yes. And you?
Nope.
What is it I normally say? Noted.
Yeah. This one is... I didn't like it, but it didn't piss me off. So I guess I can see from your point of view how it was just schlocky fun. But I think even schlocky fun should have a certain level of, like, criteria. Anything else you would like to add?
Nope, I think that about covers it.
Cool. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends or cool people who might dig the Vizcast. Please subscribe to the channel, including hitting that notification bell to stay up to date on the newest content. And there is a link in the description below for the Patreon that covers all of the creative endeavors, so please consider showing your support. And until next time, my name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.